Hello everybody. I'm wondering how you're getting on during this difficult time. It's not easy, is it? And I don't know about you, but I really missed Messy Church in April. So I got to thinking and I thought, I wonder if I can make a video for all my friends at Messy Church, all the helpers and all the children and all the mums and dads, everybody. Because we're all alone, aren't we, at the moment? So here we go anyway. Let's have our Messy Church session, even though we are on our own. Here I am sitting all by myself in my office. So we'll start the way we always do, with a song. So shall we do our My God is so big? That's the one we'll do. My God is so big. So I'll get up. Can you see me? Because we've got to do the action. Stand up. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. The rivers are his, the mountains are his, the stars are his handiwork too. My God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Well done, well done. Well, so last month we would have been having our Lent activities because we were at the beginning of Lent, and we would have been thinking about how Jesus went off into the desert after he was baptized, and he went there to try to talk to God and be by himself. And I thought that's very apt for this particular time, because we're having to be on our own as well, aren't we? Well, when Jesus was in the desert, he was very, very hungry, and he was tempted. We're told that the devil came and tempted him and gave him 3 temptations. First of all, he said, if you're the Son of God, take one of these stones, you can easily turn it into bread. But Jesus said no. And then the devil took him to a high place and said, jump off here. The angels will come and get you, because they'll save you because you're the Son of God. And Jesus said no again. He wasn't going to do it. And then the devil said, well, I'll give you everything. He took him to a place where he could see the whole world, and he said, you can have all this if you follow me instead of God. But you know what Jesus did? He told the devil to get lost. No, he wasn't going to do that at all. So he went and he prayed to God. And do you know what? When he came out of that desert, he felt stronger than ever and more sure than ever that God was on his side, and that if he followed God, things would be all right. And I think the same applies to us, as we're stuck in our houses as we are at the moment. But sometimes we do get tempted, don't we? Maybe I should go out and play with my friends. Or, maybe we'll go in the car and go for a walk somewhere, or we'll go and meet someone. All the things we're not supposed to do. We've got to listen to what God's telling us to do, what Jesus is telling us to do. And that is, we've got to try to help other people. And we are helping other people by staying inside, aren't we? So, anyway, as we're coming up to the next bit of Lent, the end of Lent, and we're coming into now the Holy Week, when we're starting to think about Jesus and the last week of his life before he died. And on Sunday we will be celebrating Palm Sunday, and that's the day that we remember that Jesus came into Jerusalem, rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, because he came in. There was lots of celebrations going on in Jerusalem at that time, and he came in, but he knew what was going to happen. Anyway, we always have activities to do at Messy Church, don't we? So I've got a couple to show you that you might like to do. Now, we usually, on Palm Sunday, we always get a palm cross at church, and it's a little cross made out of palm leaves, dried palm leaves. Well, if you go on the internet, there's lots of places where you can find out how to make them out of paper. You don't have to have a palm leaf, but I've made some very simple ones here. I've just made a folded cross, and you see, all I've done is taken some strips of paper and folded them over and stuck them together. Can you see I've folded them there? It's quite easy to do, but I'm sure you've got some ideas of your own. And these are nice to keep for Palm Sunday. I've also made this one, which I just cut out a cross shape, and I've ziggle-zaggled it. You can do much better than me. And then what I've done is I've just rubbed a bit of cooking oil on it, so that when I hold it up to the light, the sun shines through it. So it's like a sun catcher. You can put it on your window. That's just two ideas for crosses. There's lots more you can find out on the internet. One little thing that I did, which I like, is I made a little donkey, because we're told that Jesus rode in to Jerusalem on a donkey. I just drew a donkey shape, which was very easy, just two little oval shapes, and his big ears. And then I've got two pegs for his legs, and he does stand up. He does stand up on his legs, and he's very cute. But what I have tried to do is I put a little cross on the back of the donkey, because of course, if you look very closely at donkeys, they do have a dark cross shape on their back. And legend says that that's there because a little donkey carried Jesus into Jerusalem. So there's my donkey. But there are lots more activities that you can find, and I really recommend the Messy Church BRF website, where you can find lots and lots of activities. It's really good. Right, and then as the week goes on Thursday we hear about how Jesus had his last meal with his disciples, and later he was arrested, and on the Friday, of course, he died on the cross. To find out more about the story, I would see if you can find a book. I've got a nice book here. I'm afraid that all my best books are stuck in the hall, and of course I can't get in at the moment. Most of my stuff's there, but I did have this one at home. It's the Easter story, and it's got about the Garden of Gethsemane, when Jesus was there with his disciples, and when he was arrested, and how all the people were saying he should be crucified. So I'm sure if you can't find a book, there are little films on YouTube and various other stories you could find as well. But what I want you to think about, what Jesus' friends must have felt like on Friday. I mean, this was the last thing they expected to happen. Jesus was dead after telling them, you know, he was the Son of God, and he was a king, really. What sort of king dies on a cross? Well, they didn't know, but Jesus was a very special kind of king, not the sort that they were used to. Because, of course, Jesus dying on the cross wasn't the end of the story, because on the Sunday, when the women went to the tomb where Jesus had been placed, The stone, the big stone, was rolled away. And this is something else you might like to do if you're out in the garden. It's going to be fine this weekend. You might want to make an Easter garden. It's really simple, just with some sticks to make some crosses and a hill, and a little plant pot to make a tomb, and a big stone to put over. It's up to you. It's how you do it, but it's an idea if you're outside. Anyway, when they got to the tomb, the stone was rolled away and there was no Jesus there. So they were very, very upset. They thought somebody had stolen the body. But when Mary came to the gardener, and she said to the gardener, "Please, where have they taken Jesus? Where have they put him?" And then the gardener said, "Mary," because of course it wasn't the gardener, it was Jesus. Mary was overjoyed. She was absolutely overjoyed. And she ran to tell all the other disciples that Jesus was alive. How happy his friends were. God had done an amazing thing and shown that no matter how bad things get, it will get better if we put our trust in him. So for Easter, I've got a little activity for you to do. And it's a butterfly. Can you see that? Messy Easter. Messy Easter. And I've got an outline of a butterfly and I've coloured it in. Not very well. You're much better at me at that sort of thing. I've written on the wings, "Jesus lives. He loves me." And I thought that if you did something like this, if you could do some butterflies, perhaps you could put it in your window. Because butterflies, when we think of butterflies, do you remember last year, what we did was, we sang that song about going to the cabbages one day, and what do you think I saw? I saw a butterfly, watched it flutter by. Do you remember? And we talked about how it started as an egg, then became a caterpillar, then it made a sort of a shell, a super duper pooper. Can you remember that? Or a chrysalis. And when it was inside the chrysalis, it just looked like a little dead twig. But then out of that chrysalis comes a beautiful butterfly. Who could imagine that a little caterpillar could turn into a beautiful caterpillar? And it reminds us about new life, just like our chocolate eggs remind us about the new life bursting out of the egg. Well, Jesus burst out of the tomb and he showed us that he can give us new life. So, Messy Church, I've seen lots of rainbows about the place. Lots of people are putting rainbows in the window, and of course the rainbow is a sign of hope. And but the butterfly tells us that if we trust in Jesus, things will be all right. So that's something for you to put in the window. Now, for us all, for the older ones as well, for all of us, I was listening to a service the other day, and the priest who was doing it read a poem out. And the poem was written by a lady called Minnie Louise Haskins. And at the beginning of the Second World War, the king used this poem to give the people some hope. And this is the poem. "And I said to the man who stood at the gate of the air, 'Give me a light, that I may tread safely into the unknown.' And he replied, 'Go out into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be better than light and safer than a known way.' So in these difficult times, hold on to God's truth and light. Darkness won't overcome it. And we will get through this time, and we will get back to Messy Church. But let's remember in our prayers all the people who are suffering because of this virus. And not just here, but people in lots of other countries as well. So when you're saying your prayers, remember them. But now, shall we do our Lord's Prayer, the way we've learned it with the actions? Let's have a go. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Right, we've got to have a song, haven't we? So let's do Jesus' Love is Very Wonderful. Are you ready? Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. Let's do it again. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. Come on, jump. So high, you can't get over it. So low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get round it. Oh, wonderful love. Yay, well done. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's a very new experience for me, and I have found it quite difficult, but I really wanted you to know that I'm thinking about you, and all of the Messy team are thinking about you, and hoping that you manage to have a good Easter. Don't make yourself sick with all those chocolate eggs, mind. And hopefully we will be back very well. I don't know when it will be. It's no good saying very soon because I really don't know. But we will be back, and I hope you will as well. God bless you all and keep you safe. And would you let me know if you've found this video helpful?